Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Sam, United People's TV. Welcome to another week. And I tell you what, it's ah, it's so much nicer coming here on a Monday after a win. It really, really is. Like last Monday was a bad one. After that City defeat, we don't speak about that anymore. We'll speak about that Chelsea game. We'll speak about this weekend, the Premier League's results, a full weekend roundup, Ruben Amorim's comments, your reaction. We'll speak about the individuals. We'll speak about the game. We'll speak about what's coming up this week. But everything's just a little bit easier and a bit more enjoyable after United win a game of football. Imagine that. I used to be so much better. I don't know when it flipped or changed, but I used to be so much better at United's results not affecting my mood. They absolutely affect my mood now. I went out Saturday night after, had a great time because we won. No, actually, no. It was a good night anyway. Let's see who's here from the mods and the members gang. Let's say hello to everyone. And let's begin by running through all the Premier League's results this weekend, all right? Can I say a big hello to Alex? We've got Gungshi. We've got Ant there as well. Carl, you're there. Stephanie and Josh got full mods gang out here. And can I say a massive, massive good morning to you, JC, down there. Gifting 50 memberships, coming in strong to kick off the week. I tell you what, everyone's got a big smile on my face. And big up to you, dude. We're still working in the background all the time. I know I keep saying this, and you almost might sound like I'm just lying to sort of appease you. I'm not. We really are constantly working behind the scenes on some big stuff for the community. It's just the sort of stuff that takes a long, long time. We've got Rex, we've got Alicia, we've got Chris, we've got Manny, Stu, we've got Kevin, and some non-members. We've got Michael, we've got Mark Critchley. Not Mark Critchley from The Athletic, maybe he is, don't know. Andrew and Tariq. Good morning to everyone. Troy saying, morning Sam, love the jumper, where's it from? I have no idea. I like Japanese style clothes. Really like Japanese style typography on t-shirts and stuff. What I actually wanted to do, I probably will at some point, I really want to create it's a bit random this, I want to create like a Japanese inspired or themed Man United poster set. Just thought it would be like a really cool idea. Anyway, figure it out. Do all that in the background. Craig saying, how do you get a gifted membership? It's completely random. It's by YouTube, and it's just down to the generosity of this community. Right, let's get into the show, and let's start talking about the weekend's results, all right? So, what are the big results? Saturday, Fulham beating Brentford 3-1. Obviously, we play Brentford next. Interesting. We've got United obviously beating Chelsea 2-1. Wolves, weren't Wolves like 1-0 up? They lost 3-1 at home to Leeds. Wolves are going down. Right? Wolves are going down. Palace beating West Ham. Graham Potter's getting sacked at some point, isn't he? Burnley drawing with Forest. Brighton, you absolute whoppers. 2-0 up and they lose, and they drew 2-2. Come on. Alex is saying there are more than 40 in the Discord voice chat. That's wicked, man. I love the fact that you've done that and you're keeping that going. I was trying to get the arms ready for this weekend. But we were just running into, obviously, technical issues with the software, with getting stuff up and ready, so it didn't quite happen. I'm aiming for Brentford now. It will happen before the international break, so it's either the Brentford or the Sunderland game where the arms returns. Liverpool beating Everton 2-1. Mate, Liverpool really have not played that well this season. They really haven't. But they're top of the league and they've won 5 games. Bastards. And that there, right? Let's quickly have a chat about that. Before we speak about the United game, that game right there was an absolute poopy stinker. Arsenal reeked out the place. They hum to watch as a football team. They really... Oh, they got a corner. Yeah! That's all Arsenal fans do. They beg corners and they cheer them. Seriously. I think, was it... After the game, Neville and Carragher was like, oh, Arteta played the game with the handbrake on. Just, man. Just an ugly game of football against supposedly two... Like, even City in that game were like 30 or... To be fair, like, Guardiola's got different styles of playing. I just find it funny. Like, I know that United are in a significantly worse position than Arsenal are as in terms of the team structure, in terms of the overall team and the quality of the squad, but Like, if it reached a point where United had been, like, teetering on the edge for, like, 2 to 3 years, like, nearly competing for the title, but just not quite competing. And my team, and I saw United playing like Arsenal play, I'd be like, it would just piss you off, man. Like, you got Eze on the bench, you got, like, Mourinho, Zubimendi and Rice as the three-man midfield. It's not, pragmatic's the wrong word. Like, they really are Stoke 2.0. There's no chance they win the league, ever, by playing like that. It's just boring to watch. Mr. Men, thank you very much, dude, for gifting 5 memberships, and Gungshi as well. Good morning to you, my man from Taiwan. Taiwan man. Someone down there saying, who are we going to drop for Cunha? Well, do you know what I want to say here quickly? How many points off second place do you think United are? Fire it in the comments, and I'll pull the table up in a second. But we've had, by all accounts, a very, very turbulent start to this season. Even the win against Burnley, we won, but it was like, should have been a lot easier than it was, but it was. That game against Chelsea, well, we'll speak about the second half. Did we allow Chelsea to come back into it? We kind of defended our box more in that second half. But who's saying it down there? Alex, you're spot on, and quite a few of you are. Like we're bloody 3 points off second, people. Can I just say that again? Manchester United are 3 points off second place. You know how, like, the doom and gloom and, like, we're dropping a nuke on United because everything's so bad, everything's so awful and terrible. And it's like, it literally just took one weekend, one victory against Chelsea. And we're 3 points off Arsenal in second place. And we've had, I'm pretty sure, statistically, it was the single toughest start to the league of any team on paper, according to, like, the data and the stats. Bloody 3 points off second, people. But you just wouldn't know it when you look at the coverage of Manchester United and the world of the sort of extremes that we live in. Mr. Men coming down there second isn't good enough. Right. Pipe down. Second is absolutely good enough right now for Manchester United and where we are and where we're coming from. We're not going to go from finishing 15th to winning the league. Steps. If we finish second this year, I'd be very happy with that. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, everyone's feeling chirpy this morning. I love it when United get a result and everyone just comes in here happy on a Monday morning, man. It's just a nice place to be. Toby, good morning to you. Gifting 5. And Manny, you're gifting 20. Everyone's coming in strong. Carl, you're saying everyone hates us. It's not just the fact that everyone hates us, but it's... Look, I'm going to do a lunchtime video on this today, right? Because it is the land of extremes. It's... I wouldn't say it's not fashionable, but it's boring for a lot of people to just have like a middle-of-the-road opinion. It either has to be the best thing ever, and we're back. No, I'm seeing Brent doing a headline with that yesterday, and I have to call out the crap. Presumably just to troll. I don't know, maybe to troll. I have no idea. Of course we're not back after just beating Chelsea. Just in the same way that, like, the world isn't going to collapse after we lose one game. Now, the reason that City game felt like it was extreme reaction, it felt so brutal, was, you know, if you lose in those big games against your big rivals, it's going to be sort of tenfold, isn't it? But no, we're not back after we beat Chelsea, just in the same way that the world isn't going to collapse after we've lost against City. And we are 3 points off second place. Very much in the early stages of this season, 5 games in, and we're 3 points off second. It's really quite funny, actually. I'm laughing at that. Because we have had such a mixed season. I can't remember what all the results are now. Anyway, we've got Brentford next, then Sunderland. 2 big games in terms of us needing to win that, building the momentum. Imagine that. 3 games in a row. We haven't actually won 2 Premier League games in a row under Ruben Amorim. Well, that'll be nice. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat, and then let's start talking about the game. A couple of super chats. Let me read these out. I think one's from Rex. As a delectable Chelsea fan once said, worst Man United ever, 7 points. High-flying Chelsea, 8 points. There's not any team in the Premier League that is, look, of course, on paper, Liverpool are high-flying. They play 5, won 5. But anybody who's watched those Liverpool games, and even every Liverpool fan would admit it, that Everton game, second half, Everton could easily have got a result there. Just didn't quite have the quality to come through with it. But they're top of the league and they've not dropped a point. So, Pratik saying everything depends on the next 2 wins. We need to capitalise and get the 2 wins before Liverpool away. And we'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. But what's your reaction, I suppose, to that game against Chelsea, to the result? Man, I was screaming at that TV after Sanchez came out and lamped him. Most obvious red card you've ever seen in your entire life. Right? And you're calling it flying under the radar. It's not flying under the radar. It's more the fact that right now, the creme de la creme, the top of the Premier League, is not as far away from United as it may seem when you're watching United play. Even the team who are absolutely top and have won every point, they look very gettable. I'm still crap myself about going to Anfield, but that's because United at Anfield is abysmal. Michael, saying, would have liked to see the keeper gate start. I'm surprised. It was in my starting 11. That now means that I don't want to see Lamont start away at Brentford because I don't want his first game in a United shirt to be away from home. I'd rather it be at Old Trafford, so I'd rather it be Sunderland at home. And then there's no chance I'm starting him in his first away game at Anfield. So it probably means that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of Bayindir, and maybe Lamont's getting integrated into the team. Probably happens after the international break in the next set of fixtures. Alex saying the red card changed the game, but the big experienced players still had to stand up, and they did. I think United would... Look, right, we talk about aggression. Aggression is going to be one of the big buzzwords for today. Okay? And I was going to mention this a little bit later, but, Ruben Amorim speaking about the aggression. Okay? This here is a perfect example of that aggression and just proactive mindset. Šeško winning the header, it's what you want from your 6'4", 6'5" centre forward. Wins a flick on perfectly. But it's the mindset of Mbeumo to see the ball coming, ball over the top from Bayindir. Right, I'm going to predict that my teammate is going to win that header, and I'm going to make this run so that if he does win that header, I'm perfectly through. And that's exactly what he did. It was, I don't know if I can call that mindset aggressive. It's proactive. That's what you need to see from United. And I suppose it is a little bit aggressive in that sense, which is, as I said, the main buzzword that Amorim had after that game was talking about the aggression. Now, you kind of saw the... Well, type yes or no in the chat. I haven't got a picture of it up here because I forgot. Do you think Casemiro, that was a second yellow card? Because I really do think it was. I've watched it back. In real time when I watched it, as soon as I saw that like Casemiro put his arm over his chest, I was like, oh, mate, you idiot, man. It was a good tackle, but you can't really put your arm over a player like that. Not when you're on a yellow card. Few of you don't think it was. Most of you don't think it was then. A little bit split. Yeah, I call it a little bit soft, if I'm being totally honest. Do I think that Casemiro would have been sent off if Chelsea weren't down to 10 men? Maybe, maybe not. Quite a few of you don't even think it was a foul. I think it was, man. I think it was. I'm taking my red-tinted specs off here. I'm looking at that. And if you're already on a yellow card, and there's already been a red card in the game, and it's pissing it down, and that sort of atmosphere exists, mate, don't Don't give the ref an opportunity. Do not do that. If you did that and something, your teammates would be pissed off at you, man. They really, really would be. I just think it was a little bit silly from Casemiro, and I don't think it was too much of a surprise. Soft? Yeah, absolutely agree with you. It's soft. We gave them the decision to make. But, luckily, it didn't affect the result. Go down here, and that Manny's saying aggression, De Ligt and Mazraoui. Can't wait for Martinez to return. I'm going to be speaking about all three of those players very, very shortly. But Bruno there with his 100... Bruno's got 100 goals for United. Raul, you can't appeal 2 yellow cards, as far as I know. I don't even remember what the first yellow card was. How did Casemiro get the first yellow? Can't remember. Danny's saying if that's a red, there should be 4 reds every game, every week. But it wasn't a red, it was a second yellow. So, yeah, Bruno's got 100 goals for United from midfield. That is mad. Still, actually, I probably need to kind of watch the game back a little bit because remember in the build-up to the game, I was speaking about the tweaks that I would like to see. I don't actually remember because I was too hyped up for the game. Don't particularly remember exactly what was happening in the terms of the midfield shape. Did we see somebody drop in and become a midfield 3? I'll watch the game back. I won't watch a whole game back. I'll watch like the extended highlights. And you're saying, no, it's a contact sport. Ref bought it. Mate, there's a second yellow. Well, it's a yellow card, and he was already on a yellow. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a second yellow, but it was a yellow card. He gave him the chance to make that decision, and he made it. And Casemiro does miss the next game. As far as I know, that means it's a 1-game ban, isn't it? Craig, is it 100 Premier League goals? Big up, Bruno. Anyway, Ruben Amorim speaking after the game. You know what the big buzzword is there. Momentum, man. You can lose against Grimsby. We can win against any team. We need to take that forward to the next. But just build momentum, please, lads. Is it really that hard? I don't know. Apparently it is. That was, I think, this is a grim stat, if this is correct. I think that was the first time that Manchester United have won back-to-back Premier League games at Old Trafford under Ruben Amorim. And now we've got the opportunity with Brentford away to win our first back-to-back games. I mean, that is such just a disgustingly grim stat. It really is. Really, really is. Clive saying apparently Sanchez only misses 1 game as well. I thought it was a red was an automatic 3-game ban. I think a 3-game ban is when it's like violent conduct, isn't it? It's like if you punch someone, you're definitely going to get a 3-game ban. And you'd probably get an extra ban anyway if you did decide to swing at someone in a game. But yeah, I think it's only a 3-game when it's to do with violent conduct. Why did Amorim not bring in Kobe for Šeško? What was the sub at halftime? Was it Ugarte for... dude, think about it, man. Like, I don't know why I've got to answer this question. Maybe you just don't see it. You're saying, why did Amorim not bring on Kobe at halftime? You mean, why did Amorim not... Let me rephrase that. We're down to 10 men. We're 2-0 up. And it's half-time. And your one defensively minded central midfielder has just been red-carded. Of course you're going to bring Ugarte on. But I know you can get annoyed about, Ugarte's not this good at... Of course you're going to bring on Ugarte. It's an absolute given. Kind of felt a little bit sorry for Šeško because I think that was definitely a game where he could have probably got his first goal. But of course you're going to bring on Ugarte. So I mean, like, just I feel like that's an argument for the sake of an argument. Like, you're just ignoring game context there if you're getting annoyed that Kobe didn't come on. I think so anyway. Right. Playing this again. Come on. Hi, mate. You know what I genuinely think? I think Garnacho was probably surprised by that. I really do. I don't think Garnacho would have been expecting the Stretford end to do that. Deserved it, man. Do you see you see his heat map sign? Well, not his heat map sign, but his heat map. It's like walking up and down the sideline. Kevin saying fans are brutal. Mate, fans are they are Manchester United fans. If you step out of line, and you might protect yourself, and it might be self-interest, whatever it is. We're Manchester United fans, and we will sing and support for our football club. And when you're a player of that football club, you will be taken in. You'll arms around the shoulder. You will be our player, and we will. But if you step out in the way that Garnacho stepped out, and you join Chelsea, mate, load it up. Everyone's getting sprayed, including Garnacho. And I really quite enjoyed that. Right. As I said, the main talking point and the main buzzword for Ruben Amorim after that game was the aggression. And there's two players from that game in particular who sort of summed it up better than anybody else. But that for me is just, why is it that United can't just do this in every game? Can someone just please explain it to me? Like, you know how many times I've said this, and I'm kind of bored of saying it because it's true every single time. But Old Trafford, right? Old Trafford, when it gets bouncing, it becomes like a coliseum. Like, it becomes like this massively daunting and intimidating atmosphere. And United created that atmosphere for themselves in how they opened the game up there. I know the red card was less than 4 minutes in, but no, in those first 4 minutes, United were on the front foot. And there's actually a pattern, and I'll show you this in the lunchtime video, of United in the first 15 minutes of Premier League games this season being the more aggressive team. Even away at City, we were, in terms of the swing where the threat was going forward, it was from Manchester United. And as I said, there were two players I think really sort of summed up that aggressive approach. I'll speak about Mazraoui next, but it was De Ligt who set the example. And honestly, like, that starting 11 came out. I'm sure you would do the same as me. I looked at that starting 11 and I was like, Luke Shaw starting. I was like, right, I don't think he should be starting. Maguire and De Ligt. So Yoro's not playing. Was there any mention from Ruben Amorim after the game about Yoro? Or was that just a tactical choice? I can't quite remember. But De Ligt playing right-sided centre-back, I was like, it's a bit questionable. Mazraoui playing right wing-back, I think his best position is right centre-back. But De Ligt was just phenomenal. There's no other way to describe it. Absolutely phenomenal performance from him, front to back. Because as the right-sided centre-back, there's a bit more freedom to go forward. There's a bit more freedom to, I suppose, create a little bit. But he was just the epitome of aggression in the right way at both ends of the pitch. Rev, you're saying that you were mad when you saw the starting 11. Yeah, I wasn't happy with the starting 11, I'll be honest. But I remember there's games where I've looked at, not just under Ruben Amorim, but just kind of watching United, under Ruben Amorim quite a few times as well. And I've gone, that starting 11, huh? And then all of a sudden, they play great. And I'm like, well, what do I know? And then there's been starting 11s where I've loved the starting 11 and they've been bloody awful. So a starting 11 really, to a certain degree, you can make some conclusions, but it's not always right. What are you saying down here? De Ligt's had a great start to the season, someone says there. Yoro left out feels wrong, but we've got 3 points, so what can you say? Siraj saying Yoro can't be aggressive. It might be a weakness in his physicality right now. I would kind of say that I think Yoro can be aggressive. He's certainly put on some bulk as well. Only a little bit, but certainly put on some this summer. And he's saying Mazraoui's game intelligence gone under the radar. I'll speak about him as well. But yeah, De Ligt, what is your opinion on De Ligt? I'm not asking for an opinion off the back of what you just saw against Chelsea, but just in general, like, he's 26 now. I remember when he came in, before he kicked a ball, I said, if De Ligt can get over any sort of injury issues and he can cement himself, I think you're potentially looking at a future captain of the club. I look at his physical profile and I think United could probably do better in that sense. I don't know. I think De Ligt's got a longer-term future at Manchester United than Maguire, just in the years that we've got coming up, because I think Maguire will be moved on this summer. I think so anyway. Imran, you're saying underrated. Rex and Tech, you're saying future captain. Paul saying he's getting back to his best. Josh saying happy with De Ligt than I was with Varane. Mark saying I think he's solid, reliable player, good signing, can be great. Money well spent. Played a season so far, says Kenny. Siraj saying he's overlooked and experienced. I might be wrong on this one. Don't think I am. Is De Ligt the only United player who's played every minute so far this season? I think so. I'm sure I heard that stat before the game. And obviously he finished the game, didn't he? Danny's saying De Ligt is playing like he normally does. It's the media and fans you're seeing differently. He was this player at Ajax, Juve and Bayern. I think he's definitely looking really good, man. Kind of goes without saying. Schwab saying maybe Amorim started De Ligt because of his existing relationship and understanding with Mazraoui. Potential. But yeah, as impressive as De Ligt was, and De Ligt was impressive, I think Mazraoui equally as impressive. Kind of just a little bit less. I thought De Ligt was better than him. Yeah, he was the captain of Ajax at 18, 19. One of those. But Mazraoui, and you mentioned it earlier there, like in game intelligence, awareness. Those players who are kind of so good at football and they kind of find football so easy to understand that they can understand the whole game at the same time as understanding their game. Like the awareness of what's going on the pitch and game situations and context and knowing when to step in and knowing when to step back. Decision making. Mazraoui's got it spot on. And I'll speak about Ahmad next, because I am a little bit worried about Ahmad so far this season. Kind of chopping and changing positions. Left 10, right wing back. Not really sure. I think his favourite position will be the position where Mbeumo's playing, and he will play every single week, and that is the right choice. Mate, I'll go back to the prices of the match, because I wouldn't say the prices are important, but it's just nice to see in this modern game that there are still bargains to be had. You can find them. They do exist. Maybe you might say you have to get lucky, but in the case of Mazraoui, I even know what I named the video when we did it. I said, Nussim Mazraoui is the risky signing that could be huge for Manchester United. When we signed him, there were so many people going, injuries. We shouldn't sign him. That's just going to be an issue. We've proven, and he's proven now, that the injuries... Hey, look, I'm sure he'll get injured at some point in the future. Hopefully not anytime soon. Touch wood and all that. But we took a risk because of the injury record, and it paid off. De Ligt, for that amount of money, for that age, very good signing. And then on top of that, and somebody mentioned it earlier, I think it was Manny, getting this man back in the team, mate. Mazraoui was an upgrade on Bissaka. Jeez, remember the amount of arguments? Mazraoui goes and gets West Ham's player of the season. Oh, okay, good. I mean, your nan could probably go and get West Ham. No, to be fair, it's just going to be Jarrod Bowen, isn't it? That was such an upgrade. Now, in terms of aggression, look, aggression isn't everything, okay? You can't just be a team of bullies and come out like OG Wimbledon and think you're going to win the league. But United have had such a goddamn soft underbelly that when you see games like this is like all the noise that happens and all the stories that have been reported about United week in, week out, and there was just so much noise this week in particular. Ruben Amorim and Jim Ratcliffe was flying into Carrington. They had a meeting about his future. As soon as you get into Old Trafford and as soon as the first whistle is blown, every single United supporter is there supporting Manchester United. And they're going to get behind the team. They're going to get behind the manager. And then to get the momentum of the red card, just it gave like an adrenaline shot to every single person in that stadium. And then Old Trafford's a tough place to play. Chelsea were camped in their own box. We scored 1, then we scored 2. I wish that we scored a third. But and you're saying that the aggression is a platform that allows you to play your football. Like, all these things kind of have to happen at the same time. But I'm very much looking forward to Martinez being back in. Not just for the aggression. Of course, I know this. There is not a centre-back that has better line-breaking passes and progression than Lisandro Martinez. Still, I actually think De Ligt played quite a few good balls. We've actually got some options here. We've got some actual quality. If Martinez comes back and he can maintain his fitness, and who have we got? You've probably got Martinez and, well, you can go Shaw if you want on the left. I'd rather not, but you can go Shaw on the left. 2 central centre-back options. You've got Maguire and you've got De Ligt. De Ligt has shown there that De Ligt can also play as a right-sided centre-back. Right-sided centre-back, you've got Yoro. You've got Mazraoui can play there. You've got, who else can play there? Right-sided centre-back. I suppose you could play Delo there if you wanted to, but that's a bit of a stretch. You've got Heaven who can play on the left-sided centre-back. Actually got some options here. Finally, some options. Some good defensive options. That's what good teams have, man. But, yeah, I don't know what's going to be happening with Martinez. I think we're going to be seeing him back at some point. If I was to guess, I think it's early November. Fredrickson, I think Fredrickson's going to be an all right player, but I personally see Fredrickson as not someone who's going to become an established starting centre-back for us, personally. Danny saying Martinez back there in the back 3 with De Ligt and Yoro, and Ugarte would be a super strong, aggressive spine. And yeah, having these 2 back from injury, that's a big plus. I'm not sure about your take, but I'm waiting for Cunha, man. Just don't take the risk. I was glad to see him come off the bench because obviously he's fit enough to come off the bench. I thought Mount looked a little bit sharper and fitter than Cunha did. And it will take time, but I just don't want to rush him back. I need Cunha 100% fit for Anfield. That's in my mind, that's the target. So if I'm going to have him fit for Anfield, then I don't really want to risk him in these 2 next games. Brentford and Sunderland. What's Brentford's start to the Prem been like? Where are they? Bloody hell. They're on a crap start to the season. Jesus. I did not know the Brentford were doing that bad. Played 5, 1-1, drawn 1, lost 3, 4 points, 1 point off relegation zone. And then we've got Sunderland, which won't be easy. I'm bloody glad that we're not playing Sunderland away. I tell you that. But yeah, it was good to have these 2 back from injury. Mount always scores at Brentford. Don't remind me of that. Was that Ten Hag? I can't remember if it was Ten Hag. Was it Amorim? Where Mount scored the late... Was that a late equaliser or was it a late winner? And then Ivan Toney ended up scoring somehow, like 40 seconds later. I think so. Paul, you're saying only 3 points off us, though. That's kind of a fair point. That's what it is at the start of the season. They're 17th, but only 3 points off us, and we're 11th, but we're only 3 points off second. That's mad, isn't it? It is the start of the season. But the point is, certainly, it's not as bad as it may seem. And that's just the land of extremes when it comes to being a football. Is it these days? I think it's more these days because the social media gives it far more exposure into every single game. Late goal, then equalised. Yeah, that was it. No, late winner, then Toney equaliser. I can't remember. That was it. Anyway, good seeing them both back. That's kind of the point I was making. Got a little bit distracted there. Now, I said this in my match reaction as well. That killer instinct. I wouldn't say really... I mean, sure it happens in some games. I would say typically what I see most in the Premier League now is you don't really see teams going after like 3 or 4 or 5. Like a lot of teams will tighten up and sit deeper when they get to 2. I think Liverpool have done it like 3 times this season. I just think in general it happens a lot more. I think the red card from Casemiro gave Chelsea a way back into the game that probably wouldn't have existed if he didn't do it. I think it was like you can tell me it was soft. You can tell me it was the game's gone. Yeah, sure. Casemiro's on a yellow card, 2-0. They were down to 10 men. It was that sort of game and the momentum of that game. Yeah, you could understand if a referee is going to give him another soft yellow, and it's exactly what he did. I wanted that third goal so bad and it never came. And I'm not putting this photo up to have a go at Ahmad. I'm using this as an example of, what do you call it? Like, would you call it complacency? I wouldn't call it complacency. Yeah, but you just like United. We certainly lost that killer instinct. It's going to be some time before that comes back. Because I'm not sure if you see it the same as me. The third goal, I think, is the one that kills games. Like, you know about 2-0, like get one goal and you're back in it. But 3-0 is where you can probably start playing it out from the back, but really just slowing the game down, forcing the opposition onto you, creating spaces, and then a little ball in behind, boom, square it in, 4-0. Clinton, you calling it complacency? Yeah, there were a few occasions like this. It is about being more clinical. It is about having that killer instinct. You might be 2-0 up and you might be comfortable and you might think, I can take my foot off the gas now. I can be a little bit less aggressive now. And then you start losing the second balls. You start losing the duels. All of a sudden, they get a goal back. All of a sudden, goes balls. I wish that when I was 2-0 up, I actually just kept that going because that would have made my job a lot easier. Ahmad and Šeško look like they don't want to play with each other. I think that's unfair. In terms of Ahmad, right? Let me pull a photo of Ahmad up. I want to have a little chat about him with you all. Don't need to just show that little mischance because it looks like I'm having a go at him in particular. It's just that was one example of United probably having an opportunity to kill the game off that they didn't take. But in terms of Ahmad so far this season, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on sort of like how he's playing? What's your opinion on the positions he's playing in? I would say largely I'm disappointed in the fact I'm not seeing the same sort of levels from Ahmad that I'm used to from last season. I think the first few games where he was playing with Mbeumo, they were kind of, I wouldn't say they were clashing, but they weren't on the same wavelength. So they're kind of occupying the same positions, like making the same sort of natural runs. That's the way I would describe it anyway. And then he's been playing, I think he started left inside forward against City, which I don't particularly think is a natural position for him. And now Mazraoui's coming and playing right wing back. Does that mean he's ahead of him? I don't think you're going to be seeing him play at right attacking mid, which is the position he wants to play, because that's where Mbeumo is. And Hezron saying he hasn't played his role. He's not going to be playing his role. That role is Mbeumo's now. Not, well, in my opinion, this season when we went into it, you either needed to sign a right wing back or you needed to sign a right attacking midfielder so that you play Ahmad at right wing back. And that was the decision we went for. Vicky saying, I think he's not as happy as he was now that Garnacho and Rasmus are gone, and it's showing on the pitch. I mean, he shared a shirt, swapped shirts with Garnacho after the game. Maybe Mates Portland as well. I don't quite know. Don't know. I mean, I suppose you could look into that, but we don't know. Just be honest with you. We're just going to make up assumptions there. Playing okay, just not the decisions at the appropriate times. He's good in the right wing-back position. Rapid saying Bruno had a similar mistake. He gave a bad pass to Šeško when Ahmad was clear to score. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not using that photo to just have a go at Ahmad and say he's the only one who's wasting chances. It was just one example of it. I could have pulled up others too. Ed, do you think that he should be on the bench right now? And you think he's playing as someone who's unsettled? Football, you're saying he looks a bit lost and clueless. Pedro saying, I think he wants what Mbumo has and kind of doesn't let him play there. Plus his ego is huge. Is it? Would you ever look at Ahmad and think he's got an ego problem? I don't think that at all. I would never say that. I think he's hilarious. Ahmad on Twitter is one of the funniest because there's no filter. You know, some have got like a social media manager that runs their account for him. Like Ahmad just does it on his own. Whether it's an unhappiness thing, whether it's a confidence thing, right now we're not seeing the same Ahmad that we saw at the end, well, most of last season. Let's be totally honest. So me saying Ahmad is triggering with his side bicycle kicks. He had one earlier against Fulham. It just seems unnecessary complication. I think it's just sometimes the body shape and position. It's behind him when the ball's coming over, so the quickest thing for him to do is try an overhead kick. What do you think about the backlash Ahmad's getting? What is that? Something about... I saw it. I couldn't be bothered to speak about it. Because sometimes you just don't have to give oxygen to these sorts of things. But I think it was Ahmad shared a photo, was it of him and Garnacho, and then because they share the same agent? I'm not quite sure it is. People are like, I'm amazed that there's some of you had this opinion. Like, I don't think he has an ego, but he seems to buy into his own hype. I've not looked at Ahmad and never thought there was an attitude issue. I've not looked at Ahmad and never thought there was an attitude issue. Did I say the same thing twice? I can't remember. Ego? No, not at all. That's just not... Ahmad's just like a normal... like a lad. New scapegoating town? That's what I'm not going to be scapegoating him. It's just... I'm a little bit concerned about his performances, but we are 5 games in and we won't make massive, massive judgments. However, I think Mazraoui coming in and being fit now as a right wing-back option, that may well be something that Amorim chooses, but I'll be totally honest, and I really do mean this. I think for Amorim's system to truly work at Manchester United, I think the wing-backs have to be wingers. Maybe not, but you can get like Dorgu on the left-hand side. I thought Dorgu played quite well against Chelsea. And Dorgu is raw. And he's going to have games where he plays well. He's going to have games where he doesn't play well. He's not going to be a 7 out of 10 player every single game, not at that age and this stage of his development. But I would want the other wing-back to be a winger. I would much rather have Ahmad there in the long term than Mazraoui. I think if you play with full-backs as wing-backs in a back 5 system, you're going to end up being in a back 5 way too often. I think Ahmad will just find a bit of form this season at some point. I think he's just had a little bit of a shaky start. Pretty reflective of the team he's got around him, isn't he? A shaky start to the season. Someone down there saying, look, he just 1 goal from him, he'll switch back. Attitude, yeah, I don't have any issues with his attitude, man. Are we talking about the same Ahmad here, the one that grabbed the camera and went berserk for Casemiro's goal? I didn't see that one. I think he'll be totally fine as the season progresses. But look, and speaking of the season progressing, these are the games we've got coming up. Early kickoff on Saturday. Potential to be an absolute weekend stinker. What do you think is the worst? I don't know why I'm asking this, but what do you think is like the worst time to lose in the weekend? Is it Friday night kickoff, just so the entire weekend's ruined? Or is it Monday night at 8 p.m? So like you've bloody waited all weekend and then you lose the Monday night kickoff? I'm guessing the Friday night one would probably be the worst. It's kind of what I would presume. But then we've got Brentford on Saturday. Then we've got Sunderland the following Saturday. Last 2 games before the international break, before you can see what the games are next. Like Brighton. I'm sure we're all watching Carlos Baleba as well. His head is so far gone. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm guessing he'll start that game. But his performances have not been at it. What else are you saying down there? Friday night's horrendous. Definitely Friday. All losses are bad, says Colin. Well, that is true enough. Saturday morning, someone says down there. Early Saturday kickoff. It's either early Saturday or Friday. But anyway, the next 2 games for United are Brentford and Sunderland. And please just, lads, be aggressive. If you are aggressive, You will make up for some of your own shortfalls in a game of football simply by being more aggressive. You will just be winning more duels. You'll be winning more of the 50-50s. It's part and parcel of the game. If you don't do that, you're just going to get rolled over and score more goals. So simple, right? Score an early goal. If you score an early goal at home, Old Trafford becomes a very daunting place for the opposition. If you score an early goal away from home, you pipe down the opposition fans, and it will therefore feel like less of an intimidating atmosphere for you to play away from home. Scoring early goals is the best way to pop an atmosphere or G1 up. And we benefited from that. And we benefited from the red card. Really enjoyed that. I'll be honest, I really enjoyed that game against Chelsea. Second half, could we have been more aggressive? Could we have been more on the front foot? Yeah, but it's 10 against 10. If you did that, you'd be absolutely shagged. You'd be knackered. You would be. So I kind of understood why United ended up defending our box more, and we actually defended our box quite well till the last 10 minutes. Chalobah pops up with a header, but we got the result. Ant saying, what's your thoughts on Camavinga? Doesn't seem possible, but he's hardly playing now. I don't know. I've been looking at Real Madrid. What he's saying down here. If the simple idea of playing for United has messed him up, what would happen if he had the genuine pressure of playing for United? I think we should stay clear. It's not the idea of playing for United has messed him up. It's the fact that United have done this on purpose. Honestly, I genuinely think behind the scenes, Jason Wilcox is sitting there with Barada going, yep, yeah, we did our job. Yep, that price is not going up for Carlos Baleba. In fact, it's going down. Because then you're changing... Brighton are going to be angry at United. I'll tell you what, if we go back in for Baleba in January, Brighton are going to be really, currently on this form, the price only goes down and we gain more and more and more leverage and negotiation power. And also the Brighton fans become a little bit less attached to him. So they're probably more open to it. So the narrative and the noise coming around Brighton actually changes a little bit. What do you think of the Wilcox interview? I saw that. That was with, was it Man United Religion? I think it was Jason Wilcox kind of saying what everybody says. Like every player who plays for United, who comes to United, was like I knew United was big. But I didn't actually know United was this big. Like you think you know, like you really do think you know what you're getting yourself in for. But when you go in there, you're like, oh my word, man. I did not expect this. That's kind of what Jason Wilcox was saying in his interview. Saying that my job's kind of been harder since I arrived than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, it is what it is. Stevie's saying, until the sending off, we bossed the whole game. Like in that second half, like I know there's going to be people that are annoyed that United didn't have enough possession, we didn't control the ball, This might sound like a bit of a weird thing to say, but you can control a game of football without having the ball. It's not my personal preference of style, but you can. Chelsea had so much of the ball in that second half. Can someone tell me a dangerous shot that they had on goal prior to them scoring the goal in the 80th minute? I don't really think they did. I think United really defended our box well, got rid of the crosses. I'd rather not defend our box. I'd rather be on the front foot. I'd rather have the ball because then the opposition can't score. But we actually limited Chelsea. And they didn't really threaten us at all, even if they had the ball. But that's a big win. We need to see momentum. We need to see aggression. We need to see United doing it 2-3 games in a bloody row. Brentford next. Won't be the easiest game. They're going to be, of course they will. They'll be G'd up for it. But play as aggressive as you did there. Combine that with what you saw against Arsenal in the first game in terms of chance creation as well. Put those two together. You've got a winning formula. Winning formula. Right. I'm going to wrap that one up. Thank you very much all for tuning in. Can I say a big shout out to JC for gifting 50, to Gungshi for gifting some as well. We got Manny, you gifted as well, and others at the start of the show. We've got Toby. We've got lots of you. You're all legends. This should be a much better week here on United People's TV. I think you're going to enjoy it. Today's video is going to be about kind of just something I think needs to be said about United, about the position of United in the start of the season so far. Then, of course, we've got Brentford on Saturday, so the start 11 will go out on Friday. So we've got a few videos during the week. If you've got any ideas, fire them in, or you can email me, sam@unitedpeoples.tv. And yeah, feels much better to do this show after a win than it did last Monday, which was brutal. Take it easy.